It is often called the Long Wall of 10,000 Li, stretching over 13,000 miles, more than half the circumference of the Earth. The Great Wall of China is not a single wall, but a vast network of fortifications, trenches, and natural barriers. It was built to keep out the nomadic tribes of the north, but it became something much greater, a symbol of the endurance of a civilization that refused to fall. Today, we look past the postcard images to see the blood, the grit and the genius of the greatest construction project in human history. The wall began as a desperate act of unification. Before Qin Shi Huang, China was a collection of warring states. Once he conquered them, he turned his attention outward. He ordered the Long Wall to be built by connecting existing feudal defenses. This was not the stone wall we see today. The early wall was made of rammed earth, soil, gravel, and clay packed so tightly with wooden mallets that it became as hard as concrete. It was a brutal undertaking. Legend says that for every mile built, 1,000 men died. It became known as the longest cemetery on Earth. The Great Wall we recognize today is the work of the Ming Dynasty. They didn't just want a barrier. They wanted an indestructible fortress. Their secret weapon: sticky rice. Builders mixed a slurry of sticky rice soup with slaked lime to create a supermortar. This organic-inorganic hybrid was so strong that in many places the mortar is still tougher than the bricks themselves. It resisted earthquakes, erosion, and the battering rams of invaders. Each brick carried the maker's signature, a quality control measure holding them personally responsible for its durability. The wall was more than a fence. It was the world's fastest communication network. Using a sophisticated system of smoke signals by day and lanterns by night, a message could travel 500 miles in a single day, a speed unmatched until the invention of the telegraph. Thousands of soldiers lived and died on these ridges. They weren't just warriors, they were farmers and builders. They lived in these towers for months, watching the horizon for the first sign of dust kicked up by Mongol hooves. The wall wasn't just stone, it was a living, breathing machine of surveillance. The engineering required to build on these ridgelines defies logic. In areas too steep for carts, stones were carried by hand, passed in human chains, or strapped to the backs of goats. The wall follows the waterline of the mountains, winding through the most difficult terrain imaginable. This was intentional. The terrain itself was the first line of defense. The wall was simply the finishing touch that made the mountains impassable to cavalry. The Great Wall ultimately failed to stop the Mongol and Manchu invasions, but it succeeded in creating an identity. It defined the boundaries of a culture and the limits of human ambition. Today, the wall is being reclaimed by the earth. In the Wild Wall sections, trees grow through the battlements. But even as it crumbles, it remains a monument to the idea that no obstacle is too high and no ridge is too steep for the human spirit to conquer. Thanks for watching.